Hey everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty card. This would be great for someone who got a new car, a new house, a new apartment, a new RV. The list could go on, but it's a really simple card and it's super pretty. So this uses, this is an online exclusive. It's called Tags to Go. I believe it is called Tags to Go Bundle. It does also have some awesome dies with it. It has a lot of designer series paper. There actually is an entire suite. This is just one of the other papers. This is called the On the Go. Actually, it's On the Go bundle, I believe. So it has some great DSP. They also have these little travel boxes. There are, I think it's 14 of them. No, 12. Suitcase treat boxes. These are already scored and everything, but you can decorate these, fill them with treats. You can give them for something on the go. There also is a ribbon pack. Maybe you recognize one of these colors. This is a returning in color. I still have it because I loved it so much. It's called Strawberry Slush. So this is a Strawberry Slush ribbon that comes with it. And then there also is, oh dang, I can't think of the three names of them. I think this is Shy Shamrock, and I'm betting this is Azure Afternoon. But we're going to be using the Shamrock ribbon. We're going to be using Strawberry Slush. We're going to use Summer Splash ink pad as well. So it's a really cute little card. And the only sentiment I used was the congrats. There's a lot of really cute ones. And I'm also using this little die to cut that out. And then I did actually 3 keys. So I'm just going to have, there's three keys. There's also a lock. The dies are really cute. The other cool part is this actually folds up. So it's got a perforated edge so you can flap it. So you can make like a little bit of a flap die, which I think is pretty cute. But the other thing that I'm fooling around with, which I haven't done yet, this really reminds me of old hotel keys, which if you are born recently, you have no idea what a hotel key is, but they were these really cool plastic, they are usually very colorful keys. So I think what I might do is fool around with maybe doing some thicker, not necessarily cardboard, but even this paper that comes in the back of the DSP would be really good because you could layer 2 of them together and then put a color on top of it. So I have to work on that. As soon as I saw that, I thought that would be a really fun idea. And the other thing we're going to be using is just this little, oh, hold on, I got extra stuck here. Just this little, it's like a tag. It almost would fit in this kind of to highlight it, but what I did is I just stamped it in this white piece to connect them. So I'm going to show you our card. So we're using a Summer Splash base. We have a white panel for the inside, 2 pieces of DSP, a little scrap 1/2 inch by 4 inch piece of white, and I'll show you the DSP that I picked. It's really cute. It's actually the same side. So I just used one. That way it'd be a little bit easier. So these are going to fit onto the front. And then you just have this little piece that kind of connects it together. We do need a little scrap for the congrats. So we're going to stamp the congrats. We're going to die cut the keys. Excuse me. And we're also we're stamping the congrats and we're going to die cut it out of there. And then I have these other little pieces we're going to die cut our other 2 keys out of. So this isn't a very hard card. It just has a couple steps. So we'll just do our stamping first. So for that, we're going to need to do our sentiment and just this little scrappy piece here. So I'm going to just put this because I'll probably go off on my scrap stamping anyway. So that's going to be with Summer Splash ink. And I want to show you the card. That way you can kind of see it as we go. So it just had this little pattern. A little bit smaller. Just a little block. So kind of can go any way you want. I mean, you can even stamp off before you do it again. Just be mindful that when you do that, sometimes you'll get those, oops, little partial inkings, but that doesn't bother me. So there's that. Just gonna scoot him up, and then we're gonna come in with our Strawberry Slush. This is such a fun color. I've always loved Strawberry Slush. That was also in the time of pistachio pudding, crisp cantaloupe. It was actually back when Coastal Cabana wasn't in color as well. Baked brown sugar. A lot of fun colors. So we're just stamping the congrats. And we're going to just stamp it onto this little piece right here. That should be good enough to die cut. Yep, and there I do have a little circle, but it's going to cut off, so we're okay. We're going to put that just like that. Move this up. And then really we're just putting the rest of it together. So I'm going to go ahead and lay a piece of Post-it note to hold that in place. And then we're going to just do all this die cutting at the same time. So we'll just kind of die cut this opposite. And then we have our little piece here that's going to get our very tiny key, and this Christmas paper get in there, and then this one here. Okay, so all I'm going to do is die cut these, and then we'll put our card together. So put these up here. Sometimes when you have these magnetic, because this is magnetic plate, as we came to find out, was not fully magnetic, which is why things sometimes would jump around. So we're just going to put these on, die cut them, and you could add anything stamped if you wanted to the inside, whatever you desire. And we're going to just pull these off. Guess what? That little line's still there, but no biggie. It's going to stay. It's fine. Put this off to the side. Okay. And now you can use a couple dimensionals for this, which I did. I put dimensionals under the larger key, and then I just kind of staggered them. So I did summer, strawberry, summer, just to break it up, and then this is green. You could use a different color if you wanted, but I thought it was cute just the way it was. So for the DSP, this measures 4 by 4 for the one piece. And then the other one is just a little bit. It's about 1.25 inches. So it can technically overlap. Excuse me, which is why I did this little white piece just to kind of seam them together. So that's really just, you don't have to have it, but I think it kind of makes it look a little bit cuter. So I'm going to glue these on before I fold this. So grab my glue. I apologize. I should have brought my water. Never prepared. So a little bit of glue, and I'm just keeping it pretty, like, even on the sides and even-esque. Even-ish on the bottom. So it probably has a little bit more of a gap. So since I have a little gap, I might just move it down just slightly so the border at the top and bottom matches, because I do have that little white cover piece. So we'll just keep a little gap to try to keep it more uniform. That looks better. Oh, except that when you push too hard. There we go. So that looks pretty nice. And then this is just going to lay, and it doesn't really matter, kind of any way you want. I'm just going to put some glue on this. Definitely make sure you hit this with glue since you kind of have that little gap in between. And we're going to just cover that up. Looks good. Make sure this looks mostly straight. Sometimes when you're looking at stuff crooked, you have these little patterns. You can't really tell. So now I'm going to fold that. Hit this with my bone folder. All right, so then what you have is you have your little congrats, and these you kind of have to fiddle around with, because what I did is I glued the congrats, and then I put these down where I thought they should go. So I kind of laid them down to eyeball where I wanted them, and then I glued them as I had them laid down. And actually the top key I ended up putting a little bit of glossy, it's not glossy accents, it's actually the very thin liquid glue that we have, the fine tip glue pen glue, because it dries. So You might not be able to see it, but it's shiny. So just gives like a little bit of visual effect to it. And then what I did is I just tied a little slip knot and put this down with a mini glue dot with a loop. I just thought it was pretty cute that way. So I'm going to kind of just lay these down. I am going to put a dimensional on the back of this. Let's see. This one you can put a big dimensional because you really can't see just because of the way the other ones end up covering it. So I kind of went like this-ish. And granted, you know you do want your ribbon going through there, but make sure you don't cover up your congrats. That was probably the hardest thing. And on this one, it was just slightly overlapping. So I forgot I need my glue for this. I'm going to put this down. Just a little bit of glue. And you could even put this up on a dimensional if you wanted to, but I don't think you have to. And I'm going to just cut a good length of ribbon. So let's see. That'll give us way more than enough to loop. So what is this? Probably about 6.5 inches, give or take. And then I'm going to put this through all 3 loops, or 3 holes, I suppose I should say. These are really big holes, so I don't know why. I'm struggling. Come on. There we go. So putting these through just like so, and just line them up. And then I'm just doing, I don't even know, is this a slip knot where you just pull it through and you have a little loop up there? I just think these are kind of easy, but they're also kind of cutesy. So make it sound more difficult than it is. It's really not that hard. There you go. So then what you're going to do is I just kind of pull it off to one side. This needs a little bit more of this. Pull this through a little bit. Nope, that's the wrong side. Come on, reach. Pull it through the back. Okay. So I'm going to put the biggest one down first. So I'm kind of just putting this to the side, making sure all of my keys are on one side first. Let's do that, because you don't want them to get all twisted, because once you put it down, you can't really fix it. So loop up. These are down. I'm going to take this. This is the bigger key, and I'm kind of just planting that where I want it. And then you can put your mini glue dot on the back of this. Where are you? And the easiest way to do this too is if you have like a little paper piercer or something, and you kind of just wad up your glue dot, kind of wad it into a little bit of a ball, stick it on the back, and just press this up where you want it so it's kind of out of the way. Now the other thing you can do with this little pink key, if you want, again, not necessary, but if you have this foam strip, I'm just going to cut. Now it is really, really thin, so you kind of need a half of a strip. So I'm going to just cut the strip in half a little bit, and then I'm just cutting off just a teeny piece. That's probably more than I need. So you can see what this is. Let me just see if I can show you here. So I have this is just the release paper here. So it's really just a half of a strip widthwise. It's pretty thin. So I'm going to just peel this off. And then, since this isn't hooked yet, what you can do is you can kind of stick it to the back and just press it down. It feels a little wobbly, but once you stick it on and then you flatten it, you'll be fine. So actually cut that really perfectly for me. That's impressive. I'm going to take off my release paper and then just kind of eyeball where you want it. And then really firmly press this to make sure that it's stuck, which is good. And then I just put a tiny drop of glue. So you definitely want to use a fine tip glue for this. And I just put it right on the top of the key. Just a little dot. Oh, it's not going to work. There it is. And a dot near the bottom. And you can either use your, if you want to use your reverse tweezers to place it, but you kind of just want it setting. So I'll just let it set itself. That's pretty good. I don't want to fool around with it. And then I'm going to show you one more second. I'm just going to hold this just for a sec. It does feel like I'm smushing it, but the foam strips are super springy. They're a little taller than the dimensional, so that's why you can't really mix anything together because they're not the same height. So they will really spring up. So give that a sec. And then what I did is I have this bottle, I think my friend Donna gave me this from Amazon, and you can refill this with anything, but I busted the tip of my fine tip glue pen, so I just poured it into here. So I'm going to try and show you up close what I do, but you have to make sure you have a time for this to sit. So other thing is really quickly, if you want to, you can stamp whatever it is you want to do on the inside. I don't think I did anything on the inside, no. So stamp whatever it is you want to do on the inside, and then add your inside panel. I'm going to just, for the sake of being quick, I'm just going to use this as my glue. Just because I already have it out. This is a lot of glue. You're probably not going to use that much glue, but so I'm going to sit this in here. You could add just a little scrap of DSP, you know, whatever floats your boat. But once you're finished with it, that's when, if you're going to add this, you would add it now. So this little thing is really good with a super fine tip. I'm just going to lightly squeeze. And then you just kind of have to put this in a spot where it's going to dry. So when this first comes out, and I don't know if you can or can't see that, but it's opaque. And you can kind of move it around a little bit. You don't want it to be super thick, because the thicker it is, the longer it takes to dry. But then when it's finished, it dries glossy. So it kind of looks like a shiny key. Makes it a little tiny bit more fancy. So I hope you guys like this. It was a really easy way to make a fun card, make somebody's day. There are lots of these available. We do have a lot of stuff that's available in the online exclusive, but there are a lot of these available online right now. So if there's something that you see you want to get, I got these, and I will tell you, this is way, 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 way ahead of time. But I know one day my son and my nieces and my nephews will be moving on to other things that they want to do. So I was like, this will be really great, as like there were a couple things in there for like you use them for tags. So I thought that'd be really cool, you know, like maybe if you're moving to college or you're moving to whatever. So I got extra paper because, you know, this stuff doesn't stay around forever. So I got extra paper packs that I'm not going to open, but I was like, well, I'll always have the dies. And the other cool thing about this is it does have a lot of really nice sentiments in it. Marks an adventure, you're going places, detours, the date, which would be great for the key too. So I think this is a really fun set, and I hope that you like it as well. I hope you've learned something new today. This would be a great card too if you don't even have this stamp set to use any layout at all, because you're just using coordinating pieces of DSP, which isn't difficult to find. And then if you need to, you can even put that little gap strip in between. If you don't want to use a plain strip, you could use a strip of like silver foil or some sort of a specialty or decorative paper as well, which would be really easy. But I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've learned something new. Ways you can support me 100% free: like, subscribe, follow, and share this with your friend. You can leave me a comment, a thumbs up, all those kind of things, and they're 100% free. But if you would like to get any of the supplies and more, if you just click below, it'll give you all the description of the measurements, my blog, online store, and all kinds of stuff that we have going on. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.